Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito show on Damon Looks. I've got a really cool show for you today because we have a cause that we really need to talk about, and I have these guys right here. Okay, it's a documentary called "We Got Your Six." I'm gonna have them each in. You know what, Danny? You do the honors. Tell everyone who you are and your boys.
Hey, y'all. My name is Danny Zanalotti. I'm one of the writers, the director, the producer, and one of the actors in the short film "We Got Your Six."
Okay, and your two boys.
We got Greg Washington. Greg, you want to introduce yourself, please?
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Washington. I am also one of the actors in We Got Your Six, as well as a combat veteran.
Okay.
And Eric, please.
Hi, this is Eric Hoffman. I'm the vice president of the local nonprofit based where Danny filmed his movie, and we're focused on currently serving military members, and got to know Danny through the movie and through a couple of mutual contacts.
Perfect. So now's your shot. I mean, you guys can really talk about anything you want. Tell us all about the documentary, about the vets, what they mean to you. And I want to thank you guys for your service, of course, first and foremost, and to all our vets out there. So, Danny, why don't you start?
Oh, first off, thank you for your support. I definitely appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
So the movie follows four veterans as they embark on experimental type of group counseling. It's basically telehealth. And Greg, you can talk about the movie now that's been released. The short version has been released. There will be a longer official version, about 23 minutes, released on Vimeo on November 1st. And later on, we will be adding it to Louisiana Film Channel. But the one thing that makes it unique is that all the stories are actually based on real, true events. Some of the stories are mine. Some of them were donated by other veterans. And, you know, I did have to switch up the names and some of the times of the campaigns of the stories, but they are all based on true events. And it's kind of touching about some of the stories, and it basically goes into depth and shows people what veterans actually go through. Regardless of their job or their mission, they could have been a medic, a nurse, an MP, whatever. And some of the stories actually don't even involve direct combat. They involve dealing with injured civilians and little children. So it goes into depth about it. It is very graphic, so I will give a disclaimer that, please, viewer discretion is advised when listening and watching the movie and listening to these stories. I had veterans reach out to me after they watched the film, and they were obviously in tears, but they contacted me and said, I want to thank you, because I want you to know that you let me know I have things that I still need to deal with that I thought were dead and we're gone. But I still need to deal with these things. And it encourages veterans to reach out for the help that, if they need it.
Amazing. Okay, so, I mean, Eric?
Yeah, I think, talking about the movie I Got Your Six, one of the things in there was not just about the telehealth treatment and some of the nuances that were in that a lot of veterans would see, kind of how quickly people were put into brackets and kind of said, okay, this guy's this type of veteran, this guy's this type of veteran, and those things are kind of prevalent. But one of the things that really stood out to me, that's right in line with what our little nonprofit Every Warrior does, is it was when the crap hit the fan. It was the veterans that reached out to someone in the movie that was really struggling to say, hey, I got you. I'm here for you. I know what you're feeling. And I think that's what Danny and Greg did such a great job in the movie about capturing is, everybody wants a story to be wrapped up in the sitcom time frame to where there's a problem, there's some escalation, there's a solution, and then there's a happy ending. Everybody wants it to be the Cosby Show, but it's more like the Bill Cosby story. It's messed up at times, and it's really just not right. And you just can't package them that way. So I think even in the short film version, and I can't wait until November 1st on Vimeo to watch the longer version, But they did a fantastic job of really just walking you through it and building the characters. And there's a ton of things there that the veteran community and you know, our little nonprofit wouldn't survive without the civilian support sector that pays to help us put food on the table and beds underneath people's backsides when they move to our area. So the civilians and the veterans are really going to enjoy this movie.
Okay. So, Greg.
Yes, ma'am.
So, why don't you tell us a little bit about your role in this?
I think everything is always about some form of awareness.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, you know, PTSD doesn't just stop with military and law enforcement. You know, it's kind of traveled into everyone. You know, it's a different culture to where you have to, you know, accept gun violence on television or watching someone die on a Facebook video. And it causes some form of PTSD, you know, it causes some form of reaction. And maybe it's not always in the healthiest way possible. So I think with We Got Your Six, I hope it, you know, starts a conversation with people, you know, with themselves and hopefully with others to where they actually start seeking help and start, you know, reaching out to people and, you know, start building kind of a stronger foundation for those moments where you can't do it all by yourself. It takes a village. You know, it sounds cliche, but very true. You know, you need other people in your life to help you move forward. And I think that was a big moment that We Got Your Six really touched on.
What was the role that you played?
I played Corporal Nichols.
Okay.
Was a Nick and had a bad day. It's a bad day that he reflects on. I kind of like my character is outspoken early on. You know, he decides to kick off the storytelling. And it was really nice to have such a small window to get this story out, but try to find the levels in the storytelling where you can still see this person's not, you know, as nonchalant as he is, he's not over what he's going through. I think it's a good introduction to such a harsh story because after his story, it's balls to wall. It continues hitting you really hard. These harsh stories of reality, things that, you know, have happened to people. You know, ending with Danny's character, you know, kind of really sending it home on how fractured a person's psyche can be after going through something as harsh as war.
So, Danny, tell us about your character.
My character is I play Jacob Bixler. I go by the nickname Bix, based on an actual real character. The co-writer came up with. It was actually her uncle who retired out of the military. And I'm very standoffish. I'm there because I have to be. I make that very. I voiced my opinion about this very early on in the movie. And that's basically a lot of veterans that they're there because they're told to be there. They don't open up the way that they should. They've been told not to, that if you do, you're weak. In the military, when I was in the military, and I hear it's different now, I don't know, but if you asked for help with, you know, mental health, automatically, if you had a clearance, it was revoked. You were taken out of your job. Nobody wanted to work with you anyway because they thought you were mentally weak. You were banned from reenlistment. You were banned from promotion, banned from any favorable action. Now, and I have seen this. I've seen a commander consider favorable action taken holiday leave, holiday vacation. We call it leave. And the soldier was denied because he was going through mental health. So, you know, and one thing that, and I was thinking about this actually today, one thing that the Army does is they're very good about keeping your body strong and fit. Every morning between 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. on any Army base, you are working out. You're going to see everybody there working out. Everybody's working out. And the Army spends a lot of money and a lot of time dedicated to make sure that your body's strong. But they spend zero time making sure your mental health is strong. And I think that, if they went off and made it 20 minutes, 10 minutes a week for every soldier to go talk to a mental health specialist just about whatever's bothering them, they could actually save a lot of money on just retention alone. Not to mention, health problems, mental health problems that occur about PTSD and everything else. But they don't see that as a way of saving money. They see it as a way of spending money that you spend towards other things. But it's just an idea that if they actually try to keep the mind as strong as they do the body, they would be a lot more successful in their mission today.
Why do you think it's that way? Other than the money aspect, I understand that. But why do you think there's such a stigma if someone asks for help? Like, do they think they're weak? Is that what it's about?
Yes, 100% yes. Now, when you deal with, combat arms like infantry, which I was in the infantry for active duty for 11 years, Army National Guard Reserve for 6. I served in Desert Storm and Iraqi Freedom, where my combat tours, hostile tours were Panama, Bosnia, and Korea. So you're constantly around alpha males, and yes, you are looked at as weak if you ask for help. If you can't do something, you are considered weak. If you fall out of a road march, you are weak. No one wants to work with you. Now, if you have a problem mentally, then people they call you a loon, or you're Looney Tunes, or you loony bin, and they just think that you're mentally weak and you cannot handle, your job, which is combat, and you do see a lot of rough things in combat. Even in hostile tours like Panama or Bosnia or Korea, I've seen some things that, I wish I kind of didn't. Riots. I had it take place in riots, riot control with the Cuban migrant camps at Joint Task Force Safe Haven. Not a good day. That was the second time I was medevaced. And that bothered me. I had nightmares, going forward from that until I left Panama, which was a couple weeks later. But, it was definitely hard times. And if I went forward and said, hey, I'm having nightmares about this, then no one's going to want to work with me, and, oh, poor Z-Man, you can't handle it, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, it's 100% weakness, absolutely.
So, okay, so, all right, so, Eric. Okay, so do you suffer from it?
So I am thoroughly blessed with a couple of things. So gone through I was Air Force vet for a little while. Didn't see the kind of combat that Greg and Danny did. I mostly do some intelligence, a lot of the backline kind of stuff. You see some stuff on some video. You help plan targets, and you know what's going to happen with the air crew that are loaded up for bear. You know dangerous things are coming. We saw a couple of terrible things that I don't really want to get into with the Taliban in Afghanistan, but I do find myself completely blessed now, because what Danny said is exactly true. And people are very concerned about the stigma of, hey, I'm going to lose my security clearance. I'm going to be seen as weak. They're going to disarm me. I'm not going to be able to support my unit. Or when you kind of talk about the brotherhood that the guys represent in the movie so well, and all the guys that we work with, when you feel like you're letting the guy beside you down, or the gal beside you down, you feel like you're letting your family down, and that's where I feel like my luck has come in. Is I found some really good friends through here. I retired from the military, found a crap job paying me money, but I didn't care about going to work every day. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the camaraderie, but I found this little nonprofit to volunteer with, and it helped me find purpose. And some of that purpose is really captured, I think in the movie too. One of the things I want to hark on too is Greg said something earlier about how people were adjusting and they're going through their treatment because they have to be there, and they're trying and they got to learn. But what he said there was like, they're learning to live in this world, and a lot of people forget that 99% of the world worked without a uniform at some point. They didn't serve, and if they can figure it out, then the veterans can figure it out. And a lot of people have that full transitioning to that civilian workspace, and things are different, and they don't play by the same rules. So as I was kind of going through that, I joined the Air Force before I graduated high school, so I didn't know anything else. The first grown job was working in the military, and then 25 years later I retire, and I have to adjust. And luckily, this little group came beside me and was like, "Hey, let's attack that stigma that Danny's talking about. Let's show people what it's like to give real care." Because one of the things that Danny was right about everything he said. One of the things that he missed on that is, if you really did man up and decide, dude, I don't care what anybody thinks about me, I'm going to get care, you're going to walk into a treatment facility that's probably just not equipped to deal with your specific situation. They're cookie cutter, they're one size fits all. So what we've found is getting to know somebody is always the first step. Going to lunch, going to dinner, having a beer. God forbid we, drop a cuss word, have a beer with a guy, but we figure out what's going on in their life. And then when the problems come out, now they have almost that camaraderie of trust that you had in the military with, now I'm a fat bearded guy, and but they can kind of feel like, all right, this guy's listening to me. He wants to know me. He doesn't just want to throw cliche after cliche or PowerPoint after PowerPoint mental health treatment at me. He really wants to know what's going on. And then when I tell him the pill to swallow thing about why this is probably affecting him the way it is, or how I went through something and how I got over it, they're more receptive. So yeah, I struggle with it, but I'm lucky. Lucky, and I think you wouldn't find a veteran out there in the world that says who you got to rely on. They're always going to say that's why they named the movie what they named it. It's like, because they know the veterans got their six, they got their back at all times, and that's that camaraderie that when you're in uniform it's super easy, but when you're out of it, it gets disjointed and kind of hard to get in contact.
How old are you?
Me, let's see, 44.
Okay. My daughter's 41. I'm listening to you talk and I'm like, wow. All right. So Greg.
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
I'm 38.
38. Okay. So do you suffer with it?
Oh, absolutely. I just have really good coping mechanisms.
Okay. Beautiful.
And I have a good circle.
Beautiful.
So, but it took a little bit to get there.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I have a great group of people that take care of me when I'm having bad moments.
Okay, good. So, Danny,
yes.
The average person like myself, we got your 6. Tell us why you titled that, because we wouldn't know.
So whenever you hit the wire and go outside the base, it's a standing understood thing that you watch my back, I watch yours.
Okay.
Actually, my backside.
Okay.
So that's us veterans. We always watch out for each other. We know what each other went through. I've been on Facebook and had civilians sit there and say veterans are all crazy and they just need to be meted up and make sure they don't ever have guns and stuff like that. And that's not the case.
That's crazy.
Is when you talk to another veteran, they're like, "Look, I know what you've been through." And we got your 6 means I got your back, you got mine. We don't need to establish this before we hit the wire. I already know this.
Gotcha.
So that's really what we got your 6 means.
So Fire Team Designs, they do all my stuff. Fire Team is from the Army, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'm putting up a little thing to show you. They do all and I just thought about this now. They do everything I need, my hats, my shirts, my mugs, everything. You guys need anything, let us know. Okay, Fire Team Designs. The 2 guys that have done this with their wives, they were in the Army, and that's why they named it that. So I just thought about that while you were talking.
Sure.
Danny, when people say things like that about the vets, like, you just blew my mind, because I don't think I could even understand anyone ever saying that. That's heartbreaking to me. Here we are living our lives, other than the last year and a half, but for the most part, living our lives all these years while you guys are fighting for us. I never thought anyone would ever say those kind of things. That's number one. And number two, right now, I mean, I'm hoping things are different. Like, there's such a broad, there's so much talk about PTSD now. So are they taking it more seriously now and trying to help our vets now?
That's a great question. I would like to say that I've heard that they are. Okay, so full disclosure.
Okay.
I did contact the vet, the VA, about mental health.
Okay.
That I was having problems with PTSD. They contacted me a couple days later, and they did an interview to make sure I didn't need to talk to anybody right there. That wasn't going to harm myself or anything or harm anybody.
Okay.
I didn't need any medications. I said, okay, cool. They said, okay, well, download this app and let's measure your feelings, and we'll call you back in 2 weeks. I said, okay, cool. That sounds fair. That was last October, a year ago. I haven't heard from them since.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. That's terrible. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the VA is doing, and part of the movie, it kind of points out a fact that the VA is doing everything they can with what they got. But the problem is they really don't have any. They are overwhelmed. And I understand this. And I'm trying to be sympathetic, and I try to point that out in the movie. But, I mean, as I mentioned before, this, like, for instance, this $3.5 trillion bill that we're trying to, infrastructure bill that we're trying to pass through. And if you've read it, which I have, none of it goes to the VA. Zero. That's what I mean by none of it. $0 are going to the VA for. And unfortunately, these are things that are just going to cost money to handle. And I know they're trying hard, but they can't do it without full government support. So that's just where we're at.
But that's the problem I'm having. See, I can get angry when you talk about these things. I've had family members and friends in the military as well. And without government support, that's insane to me to even have a thought, because there should already be 100% government support for vets. Period.
Oh, I agree. I definitely agree.
I know you do. I'm just blown away that there's not. To me, it's disgraceful. Okay, disgraceful.
Yeah, and to reach and just jumping in that 100%. Say you wanted to reach 100% coverage of vets. What they're going to do is they're going to implement a program just like Danny's app. They're going to have him download this app. They're going to check the box that a member called in. We did a proper triage. He's not suicidal, and you're going to give him his app. He's telehealthing, and he's getting all he needs. And it's really we know in the veteran community that that's all lip service. It's cover for doing the bare minimum with what you have. And then one of the things that this little nonprofit that I work with, it's so easy when I tell you, you talk about people don't want to hear the tough story. I'll spend $180. A $180 credit with my local mental health counselor is going to get 3 one-hour sessions with a military member to go talk to an off-base counselor. The reason we pick an off-base counselor, because it is free on base, and I understand that we don't want anybody to avoid that. But if there is that stigma we talked about earlier that says, hey, I don't lose my clearance, but I want to talk to somebody, this is like that gateway counselor realize it's okay. So I'll spend $180 to get them 3 one-hour sessions. The percentage of turnover rate from a off-base clinic to an on-base clinic for a long-term care is astronomical. We're seeing people go in there in massive numbers and follow up with care that they never would have if they would have started with the app or the VA version. And I tell you, it's $180, and I got it. I'm a little nonprofit with sell some t-shirts and a couple of hats to try to fund this thing. But if $180 can save, and it's not about saving just one life, it's about saving many, 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 many lives. Because if you look at the one guy that I don't get a chance to reach to, and he does end up hurting himself, if you want to talk simple numbers, and that's what the government talks about, and that's what the finance bills are about, the pure numbers of a insurance payout for a veteran that commits suicide would have paid for hundreds of thousands of treatment sessions. And it may be, I don't know, I'm a bit of an anarchist at times politically, but maybe the government isn't the best entity to solve the problems that happened under the government's care when people were serving, doing things the government asked them to do.
There you go. Perfectly said.
That's why we look for this private partnerships and this network,
Perfectly said.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, Danny, what would you like to let everyone out there really know? Like, tell them what's happening, how to get in touch with you, with your boys. I mean, what do you want them to all know, and about your documentary and about the nonprofit? Let's tell them all the info.
Okay, so here's one thing, and I just crunched the numbers the other day. Between the Korean War, Vietnam War, Grenada invasion, the Panama invasion, Desert Storm, the Afghan invasion, which lasted 20 years, and the Iraqi invasion, we lost 100,620 servicemen and women. From the beginning of the Afghan invasion, present day, we have lost over 160,000 and counting veterans due to PTSD.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, this actually, they say the number's 22 a day. It's actually higher than that. When I went to my last VFW meeting a couple weeks ago, it was actually it went up from 22.5 to 22.7 veterans per day killed themselves due to PTSD.
Oh my
This,
gosh.
by every definition, is a pandemic, and it should have government involved in getting it taken care of. And it's easy to take care of, So and that's hopefully, this movie reaches a lot of people. This is why I'm not trying to monetize it. On November 1st, it will be on Vimeo for free. If you look it up, We Got Your Six. You'll find, if you look for my name, Danny Zanalotti, I promise I probably got the longest name on Vimeo. It's just one of the very few ones that start with a Z. I'm Italian. Gary, I see your name too. So
Yeah.
your last name ends in a vowel. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, they can watch it for free. In just exactly like Eric just said. This is not about trying to save one veteran. It's about trying to get them all. We need all of them to watch this, and let them know that asking for help is no longer a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength.
That's right.
You are strong enough to come out and say, "Hey, there is something wrong, and I need help." So that people can contact me on Facebook. Of course, Danny Zanalotti, Zaneloti. They can hit me up. They can talk to me. If you're in the local area, I'd love to. And you need something, I'd love to help hook you up with Eric Hoffman, who runs Every Warrior Network. It's a great nonprofit organization in the area. We're actually planning on having a screening at the VFW in Bossier by Northgate, which on Veterans Day, we're going to go check out the venue, let those veterans see, let everyone know that, this is, part of this is letting veterans know, hey, it's okay to ask for help, but the other part is actually letting civilians know this is what we went through. And, as much as you're talking to a veteran and you think he's doing okay, some of these stories are what's going on in the back of his head all the time. Yep. And they might explain a little bit.
Okay. So do you, Greg, or Eric have anything you'd like to close with?
Man, well, Greg looking at me, so let me jump in front of him.
Okay.
Danny's exactly right. What I tell you, there is support out there. I know that there's agencies. I know no one can remember the 1-800 suicide hotline. The number now is 988 if you need to talk to somebody on that suicide hotline. But I want to do one better. If you're a currently serving military member, because that's what our nonprofit is focused on, and If you need the help, if you're a veteran and you need help and you reach out to us, we're going to get you in contact with the right people. But if you are currently serving, and I don't care what has happened, if life has hit you right between the eyes and you're struggling, I want you to go on to any social media. I want you to go to any one of Every Warrior's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, or Twitter. You can go to our website, everywarrior.org, or you can go to wherever you download apps and get Every Warrior app. Just simply go in there and look for Find Support. If that doesn't work for you, if that's taking too long, there's a little message button. If you click that, that's going to go to one of 5 volunteers. And if you think that 5 volunteers can't change the world, I want to be tested. So you give us a call, and we're going to help you. We're going to take care of you, and we're going to reach out to you. We're going to make sure that you really – Danny hit on something that I want to say. We're kind of starting a new campaign. It's a little tongue-in-cheek because I work with a lot of people that don't have the same kind of veteran sense of humor that some of us do. But the worst 4-letter F word in the entire world is not one that I will say on the radio, I won't say on this phone call. The worst 4-letter in the world for a veteran community is fine, because it's a lie you tell yourself when people say you're okay. If you need something, you got to drop that word and you got to actually say what's on your mind. And if that doesn't work on the first conversation, we're going to have pizza, we're going to have beer, we're going to have another conversation. And when it comes out, we're going to be there to make sure that we're there for you. So again, everywarrior.org/find support. If you need something, we want to make sure that people are reaching out to somewhere. There are 1-800 numbers, there are national agencies, but until there isn't, there's people like Greg and Danny and me and so many other in the veteran community that we're standing here, and we are looking for a damn mission. So give us something to do, and we're coming to help. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk today.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Greg, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, and this is actually something I took from the director of the U.S. Mark. Their new mission is to be the difference. So I hope anyone listening to this, anyone that may have the chance to listen to it in the future, be the difference. Be the difference for the people around you. Be the difference for your community. Be the difference for yourself. Know when you need to talk to someone. Know when something is off, and be different than the people that don't take care of those things. So yeah, I just want to end this.
Beautifully said. Danny, any closing words?
Just like I said before, if you're out there, and I know my movie is about veteran PTSD, but there's a lot of PTSD out there. Being a police officer, I've worked with people, and I've done some things. I've had to look for a 2-year-old on the side of I-20 because she was ejected through the windshield of a car. I've talked to officers that have went into a house and tried to open up the door, and something behind the door, so they kick it open, come to find out it's a dead little 4-year-old boy. So even though the movie is really about veteran experiences, I wanted to speak to any of the first responders or anybody really out there that has some sort of PTSD, that there's, you need to ask, you got to ask for help to get help.
Yeah.
And it's not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength to say, as I said before, there's something wrong. I need help. So I encourage anybody out there that, if you need help, and to my veterans, I challenge you. Now you're being challenged. If you need help, ask for help. Like Eric said, everywarrior.org/find support. 988. Something. Call one of us. DM one of us. We can definitely get you in contact. Greg has even put his personal phone number out on a podcast before. Say, look, if you need help, call me. You want to talk? We'll talk for hours. You want to get help? We'll find you help. I have actually answered Facebook messages talking about, hey, look, I've taken the pills and I got the car running in the garage. Y'all take it easy. No, I called the local sheriff's department. Because we do care about you. As much as you don't think no one cares about you, somebody out there does. Please ask for help.
Well, I want to share something with you guys. I want to thank you for this interview, first of all, and I, hope to God that this helps, okay, what you're doing. I'm the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass, because 30 years ago, guys, I was a dumbass. And through the grace of God, I can now say I'm a smart ass. I'm also a recovery coach, and I'm also a nutritional coach. So my services to everyone out there is free. Guys, if you need any help at all, please reach out. So many people suffer, and a cousin of mine lost her son, 31 years old, to suicide this year. I want to read a poem. I want to close this show with a poem that I think is appropriate and hopefully will resonate. So guys, here goes. This is in my book. It's called Put Down the Gun. I had to have this purple gun just in case my life was done. I kept it safe, locked in my room, because I was filled with gloom and doom. Yes, there were times that I just knew if I loaded it up what I could do, but I kept on hearing that gentle voice. Put down that gun. You have that choice. Life may seem hard at the end of the day, but that's when you need to really pray. Dear Father, I beg you to show me the truth. How can life be so bad when I'm only a youth? Get rid of that gun and go take a shower. Ask someone for help. You do have that power. So I need everybody out there to understand that you do have that power, and it makes you strong. Like they were saying, it's not a sign of weakness. So whatever your struggles are, whatever you're dealing with, guys, please, I'm begging you, reach out. Someone is always listening. So
Absolutely.
guys,
Very beautiful poem, by the way.
Thank you. So guys, I want to thank you all for sharing all this. My prayers are going to be with all of you through this mission, because something needs to change, and I think God is using all of you. So guys, again, we got your 6. Please. November 1st, right,
Absolutely. November 1st, it'll be on Vimeo. It's gonna be definitely involved in the Cleveland Film Festival as well, which is a Academy Award winning qualifier.
Okay.
So definitely look at it. Look for it in the film festivals. After it gets done, check for it on Louisiana Film Channel. And I do want to just give a quick shout out. Thank you so much, Paula Ann, for introducing me to Geri here. It's a great job. Paula Ann has been giving us a lot of interviews, trying to spread the word of this message. And thank you so much.
We love Paula Ann. Absolutely. So thank you. Thank you very much. All right, guys. So again, thank you for what you're doing, and my prayers for you will continue.
Thank you so much, Geri.
Thank you, Geri.